Hey everyone, you probably know by now, I'm a returning player to retail. So I guess that makes me a bit of a noob, or I feel that way at least. So I've got about 900,000 gold now, which for retail makes me very poor indeed. And I'm entering expansion this week with very big plans. I'm not sure though that my warband bank balance is going to be able to cover my big plans. And so it's for this reason that I'm preparing my druid. Being real here, druids aren't my favorite class in World of Warcraft, but the whole flight form, picking when you're a fly-in business, is just too good to pass up. I will be taking Herbalism and Mining on my druid, and I'm going to be going for some really fast leveling. Generally, there's no better time to sell gathered materials than in those first few weeks of an expansion. So let's get going, starting with Herbalism. Thankfully, while the gathering professions did get a massive revamp in Dragonflight, there's nothing too complicated and annoying here to see. In the War Within, you're going to train Herbalism in the new main city, Donegal. If you start questing there, you're going to be naturally sent there really early. So in my opinion, it's better just to start your quests and arrive naturally rather than go in and try and get there yourself faster. In the War Within, there are 100 skill points to obtain. You don't need to do any pre-herbalism to qualify for the War Within. You do, however, need to have a vacant profession slot. Before you get going, if you have any buffs to finesse available, remember to stock up on those. Finesse allows you to extract more of the base level herbalism that you get from the Nobe. Perception allows you to get more of the side gathers, but most of the side gathers are going to need you to have a few levels in herbalism already. And if I'm honest, as nice as they seem, you do also get the side gathers from enchanting or from tailoring. You can get it from unraveling, so there's probably going to be better ways of getting those. Now, we also have a potion that allows you to see camouflage nodes, but assuming that you're day one herb in here, you're probably not going to be able to access that immediately. It could be worth, though, before you log off, just go back and check if there's any available. In the War Within, we've got 5 new base herbs: Myco Bloom, Arafa Spear, Orbidnid, Lordrop, and Blessing Blossoms. Each flower can be found in every zone. Some herbalism nodes can be powered up and they give you an additional drop. That was the side materials that we just spoke about a moment ago. So Altered gives you Rife and Sample. These are used fairly often by other professions, so for example, Dark Moon Sigils in Inscription. Crystallized gives you Crystalline Powder. Again, it is useful. These are reagents for multiple professions, including the treatise things that gives you knowledge points. Irradiated is Leyline Residue. These are used in flasks and gleeful glamours, so you're going to be needing those for sure. Last up, you've got Spore Fuse. They give you viridescent spores. These are again really useful, actually good for you as scribes make these to make the herbalism treatise, so it grants you an extra knowledge point. You can get one from those. You also get lush nodes. These just give you extra herbs, and camouflage nodes, which I already touched on. You need a potion made by an alchemist to see these. Looking then at the talent points for herbalism, just from picking herbs, you can get a maximum of 35 points. You get your other points from the weekly profession quest, Dark Moon Fair, treaties, renown, etc. Spending your points, though, that one can be a tricky one. Well, all right, let's be clear here. It's a tricky one for me. For you and everyone else, I recommend Bountiful Harvest. The reason being, it gives you an instant productivity bump. You can choose a herb to specialize in based on your zone preferences, and it makes everything better by increasing your yields and your productivity. As well, remember for early game, you're having to choose right now, but eventually you will get all the points. The one I'm stuck on, though, is the bad guy of herbalism. Basically, botany. So the reason everyone says it's bad is because your 40-point talent is to be able to herb while mounted, but you can do that anyway. Druids can. Also, you get some seeds, but not really enough to justify the productivity loss at the start. However, as someone who didn't play Dragonflight, but did love Mr. Pandaria, planting seeds in my own little farm in Hallowfall really appeals to me. So I am going with botany. It's not going to be the meta, or at least it doesn't look like it is going to be. But I don't care. I'm going to put on my overalls and I'm going to make it work. We've got one final specialization, and that is overloading the underground. This one's fine. It increases yield of secondary materials you get. So while the secondary materials look nice, you can get most of them unraveling, and I'm much more likely to view gathering lows via a crafting profession as a semi-AFK shuffle than go out gathering for them. So as soon as those secondary materials reach a particular price point when they are actually looking really lucrative, that's the point where you start using tailoring or you start disenchanting things to get them instead. So for that reason, I wouldn't go with overloading the underground. However, depending on your playstyle, that might be your preferred. In summary then for Herbalism, my gathering character is Druid, so I can gather while in flight form. That is unquestionably the best way to gather. I'm going to try and buff myself using Finesse as priority, and I do recommend Bountiful Harvest as the strongest talent tree to start with. However, I'm choosing Botany for myself because it looks more fun and I'm confident that I can make it work. Moving on to mining, we're going to get through mining quite a bit faster today since it's actually really similar to Herbalism. If anything, it's a little bit more straightforward. Just like Herbalism, you'll be training this in a new city and you'll be looking to gain skill points from 1 to 100. Before you start, I do recommend any finesse buffs you have available, and also, if it's available, the potion of True Sight from an alchemist will enable you to see the camouflage nodes. For mining, you've got 3 new types of ore: bismuth, agarith, and ironclaw. And like Herbalism, crystallized nodes give you crystalline powder, and weeping gives you ripen samples. The new one here is that webbed nodes will give you weaver cloth, which, as you can imagine, is used extensively by tailors. So I guess it's time to start thinking about those talent trees. You gain your knowledge points by mining, Dark Moon Fair quests, treaties, weekly quests, renown, and probably a few more as well. But how will we spend them here? So remember, eventually you are likely to have all of the points. It's these initial ones though that are really going to make a huge difference to you. Our 3 talent tree choices then: Plethora of Ore, Mining Fundamentals, and Mastering the Mysterious. I'm going to go with Plethora of Ore based on what we know today. The reason being is the increased rate that you can gain null stones. So a null stone is a byproduct you sometimes get when you're mining, but they're usually broken, so you need to gather up 5 of them. Instead, by going full into this specialization, you will no longer break them. These should be in demand. They're used by blacksmithing and jewel crafting frequently, and they are only being gathered by miners. Obviously, mining, as well as herbalism, they do have issues around bots, but at the start of the expansion, usually a lot of the bots are out of action. So I am holding in some hope that these null stones will actually hold a good value. So that was my run through of Herbalism and mining today. I've been out giving both a shot on beta over the last few weeks, and so if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments below and I'll answer as soon as I can for you. My next War Within Profession video is scheduled to come out tomorrow. That one is looking at my second character's professions, which are tailoring and inscription, and why I believe that these are the perfect combination for leveling characters. Unfortunately, I didn't quite finalize yet if my second character is going to be mage or priest. I'm still so torn. A lot of big decisions for me this week. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please do give me a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it and it helps the channel grow. Thanks a lot. Bye!